Coach told me I can never miss a Monday. Hey, look, it's never miss a Monday. Hey, look, it's never miss a Monday. Hey, look, it's never miss a Monday. Coach told me I can never miss a Monday. Hey, look, it's never miss a Monday. Hey, look, it's never miss a Monday. Wine on Saturday, wine on Sunday. But Coach told me I can never miss a Monday.
Good evening. Welcome to the Monday Night Live Real Estate Call-In Show with Coach Mike. I'm your host, Rick Davis. If you don't follow me on social media, I invite you to do so at Prime Real Estate Rick. If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in residential or commercial real estate anywhere in the great state of Texas, but especially here in our lovely city of Houston, you can reach me directly on Instagram at Prime Real Estate Rick. As always, it's an honor and a pleasure to be here with you for Monday Night Live. We have some really great questions lined up for you. And for everyone who's checking us out live on YouTube and Facebook, get involved in tonight's show. Leave Coach Mike a relevant real estate question in the comment section, and you never know, your question may very well be answered on tonight's show. I want to take a little time to introduce my co-host. He is not only a highly successful real estate broker, but he is also the co-founder of Brooks & Davis Real Estate Firm. I want to thank him so much for sitting in with us on Monday Night Live. And I'd like to introduce to the audience, CEO, Coach Mike, Mr. Michael G. Davis. How you doing?
Prime Real Estate Rick, what's going on, my brother?
Hey, man, we here, man. It's great to be here with you, man. It's another Monday Night Live Real Estate Call-In Show. I'm really, really excited about tonight's show. Hey, man, how's everything been going in the world of CEO Coach Mike and over at Brooks & Davis Real Estate Firm, bro?
Hey, you know what, man? It's going amazing, bro. We're growing by leaps and bounds. Super excited about that. Just kind of spreading our wings. A couple of our teams just launched into Dallas. Super excited about that and what they're doing big things, moving us into a different market. We got another one of our teams that's looking to launch into the Beaumont area. So, it's that's what it should be about, man. They say if you ain't growing, you're dying, right? So the good thing is that we're growing.
No, it's really great. And I thank you so much for sharing, because for those in our audience that follow Brooks & Davis online and follow the channel on YouTube, they see so many things going on a regular basis on the Brooks & Davis calendar. It's great to be able to have you to sit in with us on a Monday night, talk about what's been going on with the company, things that you've seen in the past week, because you know how it is in this real estate market, especially somewhere like Houston, things are ever evolving. So Thank you so much, Coach Mike, man. Thank you so much for sitting in. And, it's great to be able to have someone as experienced as yourself to sit in, answer the questions that we have that come in from the buying public, those that are looking to possibly sell their homes, and those real estate professionals that's out here in the grind on a regular basis.
Hey, man, the pleasure is mine being here every Monday, Rick, just to give the people some little advice, some nuggets on, like you said, that 20 years of experience.
Hey, it's so much going on, man. We had so many questions that came in, but we've had the opportunity to take maybe some of the questions that we feel like the audience will be best served hearing your advice and some of your expertise. So if you're ready, Coach Mike, I wanted to see how you felt about the first question that we have lined up for you this week, sir.
Man, let's see what they got for me on this Monday.
Let's check it out. Let's see what we got for question number one. Coach Mike, how do I structure my real estate listing compensation post-NAR settlement if non-represented buyers are coming directly to me off my listing?
Okay. You know what, Rick? I think that's an excellent question. So here's the thing. When everything kind of came down with the NAR settlement, our documents changed. Now, a lot of people get a couple of things confused when it comes to the NAR settlement, right? So the NAR settlement, NAR stands for National Association of Realtors, right? It does not stand for TREC, Texas Real Estate Commission, right? If you're in Houston, if you're in Texas, you're doing real estate in Texas, then you know that as real estate professionals, we have two sets of forms. We have our Texas Realtors forms, which fall under the National Association of Realtors. And then we also have our TREC forms, which are forms that are sanctioned by the Real Estate Commission. Okay. So now when it comes to our TREC forms, those forms haven't changed. The reason that they haven't changed is because none of this settlement falls under TREC, under the commission. Like TREC is not responsible for enforcing any of the stuff that's happening with this settlement. This settlement is strictly amongst a trade association. And that trade association is the National Association of Realtors. So now, if you're a member of that trade association, now I am, but not every licensed professional in the state of Texas is a member of this trade association. Okay, that's a common misconception that a lot of people feel like every licensed real estate professional has to abide by what came out of this settlement, and that's just not the case. And this may be the first time that people have heard that that's not the case, but it's not, because not every licensed real estate professional is a member of the National Association of Realtors, period. Now, most licensed professionals are, a big majority of licensed professionals are. NAR commands a huge piece of the licensed professional market. I get that, but not everybody is. All right. Now, the changes that were made to the Texas Realtors forms. One of those forms includes the listing agreement or the employment agreement, the exclusive right to sell, the exclusive right to lease, right? Well, on that form, and the adjustment that was made had to do with the compensation. So to this person's question is, how do you structure it post-NAR settlement? Well, I don't really necessarily think it's a restructuring, Rick. I believe it's just a more clarification that's taking place on the listing agreement. Now, this is what I mean by that. Prior to NAR settlement, the listing agent would go to the seller, and the listing agent would say, my commission is 6%. Okay, we're just going to use a number, 6%. Now, they might say 10%. They could have said 4%, right? Whatever number. So we're just going to pull a number. We'll say 10%. My commission is 10%. Okay. And of that 10%, half of it, I'm going to give to the buyer's agent. If a buyer's agent brings a buyer, I'm going to give half of it. Now, I use that number, and the reason I use that number is because everybody's freaking out about this 3%. Like, they feel like 3% is the standard number, but that's not the case. It's common. It's a very common number. 3% is a very common number, but that is not standard. All right. Agents can charge whatever they want to charge. That's why I was using 5% to throw you off a little bit. Right. So say it's 5%. And on the MLS, historically, that agent will put 5% on the MLS. So that buyer's agent, when they're looking at a list of properties to show their client, they can see on the MLS how much they're getting paid from the listing agent. All right. That's how it's always been, Rick. Mm-hmm. The seller never paid the buyer's agent. The seller pays the listing agent. And then the listing agent shares his compensation with the buyer's agent. It's always been like that for almost 40 years, since the 90s. It's been like that. Buyer's agency, it's been like that. All right. Well, now what's happened is, because of the settlement, on the listing agreement, there's a separate paragraph. And now that separate paragraph says compensation with a buyer's agent. All right. Say you put 10% there. Then it also says how much is being paid to the buyer's agent. I'll put 5% there. Right. Again, I'm splitting it in half. So 10%, 5% in that paragraph. On the listing agreement, now the seller is signing this with the listing agent. That addition was made. And then another paragraph was added now, compensation without a buyer's agent. You put a number in there. All right. Now me, I'm still putting 10%, right? So whether there's a buyer's agent or whether there's not a buyer's agent, the seller is paying a 10% commission, period. Okay. So now there are some agents that may put 5% there. right? Instead of putting 10%, saying, oh, well, since I'm not splitting the money with the buyer's agent, I'm just going to put 5%. Now, I wouldn't do that, Rick, because if they don't have an agent, who's going to facilitate the transaction on behalf of the buyer? You are. Right? So now there's additional work that you have to do as a listing agent. Why would you take on additional work and make less money? What sense does that make, Rick? Does that make sense? I don't think that makes sense, right? That don't make sense. Nobody's asking people to go to their job and say, hey, look, we're going to give you more money. We're going to pay you less. What? Nobody's doing that. So I'm still going to put 10%. All right. So now here's the caveat about it. Are there some sellers out there that's going to say, hey, I'm not paying the buyer's agent? Yeah, there's going to be some sellers out there that say, I'm not paying the buyer's agent. All right. Is there going to be some sellers out there that say, hey, if a buyer's agent is not a part of the deal, I'm paying you less? Yeah, there's going to be some sellers out there that say that too. That's where you got to come in as it relates to articulating your value. Okay. Because if you provide enough value to the customer, it's not going to matter what the commission is, right? They're going to take your advice. If they trust you and they trust your competency, right, and they trust your track record, then they're going to do what you advise them to do. And guess what? If they're not going to do what that you advise them to do, then you shouldn't take them on as a client. Why would you take on somebody that's not going to listen to you, right? So if you tell your client, hey, it's in the best interest that you pay a buyer's agent, like it's in your best interest as a seller, right? I know what the news is saying, and I see what other agents and I hear all the noise, right? But I'm telling you, it's in your best interest to offer compensation to a buyer's agent. Just like we say, Rick, it's in your best interest to list the property at this amount. This is what the market's telling us. We're reviewing the data. This puts your property in the best position to get sold and to get sold at what the market can bear. We need list price, right? But guess what, Rick? That seller can decide not to agree with you. And that seller can say, look, I want to sell I know you're saying $250,000, but I want to sell it for $1 million. They can do that. They will do that, right? But as a real estate professional, you're there to provide value and advice. And if they're not willing to take it, if they're not trusting your competency, and if you're not doing a good enough job to be able to articulate value, then that's where you are going to get hit. You're going to get hit in the commission. And once that happens, you're no longer being compared based off of service or value. You're being compared off of price. And when they start comparing you off of price, you've now turned into a commodity. You just like coffee, right? They're looking for the cheapest one. And you don't want to put yourself in that position. So you always have to compete on value. And if a person doesn't recognize the value, if you do a great job of articulating your value and they don't see it, they don't want it, let them go. And find somebody else that does see the value and wants the higher level of service that you're going to provide. Right? So that's my take on that, Rick.
No, and I agree totally. And I just would add, for those in the audience that have that similar question as far as how to elevate their value in that type of situation, I would ask them to just go through the home buying process with the seller so that they understand what a potential buyer goes through, and explain to them that the compensation that the buyer's agent receives is so that they can advise them throughout this process, because there's so many twists and turns that come with the home buying process. And if there is no buyer's agent, you as the listing agent has to take on all those same responsibilities. So that's why the compensation doesn't change depending upon if they have a buyer's agent or not, because this is still a person, this is still a family that has a lender, that has an appraiser, that has an inspector, that all have to be coordinated, talked to, and potentially negotiated with. So absolutely, that's why, to your earlier point, that's why that compensation number shouldn't necessarily change depending upon if the potential buyer is represented by you or by another agent.
Absolutely, Rick. And you know, you're going to be dealing with individuals, especially if there's not another buyer's agent involved. You're going to be dealing with individuals that they haven't done this before. Some of them haven't done it before. Even if they have bought or sold a house before, like they've only done it one or two times, you know this, Rick, the market changes every 6 to 8 months. Like things change. So you're going to be working with somebody that doesn't have a clue of what's going on. And if you're representing a seller, it's in your best, like the seller has hired you to sell the house, right? And if you can't get this buyer to the finish line, if the buyer doesn't get to the finish line, then guess what? You ain't did your job, because you're hired to get the house sold. That's what you're hired to do, right? And that doesn't just stop once you get a ready, willing, and able buyer. That's not, your job has not stopped,
No.
right? You got to get it to the closing table. So that compensation that you're getting paid, like you're not getting paid just to bring the buyer to the table. No, you're being paid to get the transaction closed and get a check in your seller's pocket. That's what you're getting paid for.
No, I agree totally, man. And I hope everyone in the audience can bookmark, save this particular part of the episode, clip it, share it with others in the real estate field that may have similar questions, because we are going through some transition in our profession, but it's just an evolutionary step. So I advise everyone to read up, study, get with your mentors, get with the brokers, and just evolve with the times, because at the end of the day, there's nothing wrong with transparency. And we want everyone to know exactly what it is that we provide as a service and what they are committing to as someone who's selling or buying a property with us. So
absolutely.
Man,
And the you know, the last part, Rick, is that because you mentioned about as a profession things are evolving, but at the same time our market is evolving. Yes. So that's why it's even more paramount that you connect with somebody that can really kind of navigate these things and help you.
Nah, man, I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much for sitting in with us, Coach Mike, because these are the type of questions that we just love to field here on Monday Night Live, because as you mentioned, things are always changing, moving, especially in this real estate sphere. So it's great to have someone like you with so much experience that those that are in our audience can bounce these type of questions off of. We have another question that's teed up from our audience as well, Coach Mike. So I appreciate you if you would take a look at this question and see if you can grant your expertise and help this person out as well.
Let's see what we got.
Let's see what we got for question number 2. Coach Mike, how much should your broker be walking you through your first listing?
Ah, man, that's an excellent question, Rick. How much? Now, you know, it's all relative, right? So I'm going to offer my opinion, right? This ain't the gospel, but this is SEO Coach Mike's gospel, right?
Right.
But not all brokers have the same philosophy or feel the same way that I feel about this question. I feel like for your very first list, really, not even we go past the first listing, your very first everything, your broker needs to hold your hand or has parameters in place to hold your hand from the very beginning, right? You know, when people get their real estate license, Rick, like low key, I see them, you know what I'm saying? No disrespect, because I get it. We're all adults. We're all, you know, we all adults. But I see them as a broker, as a professional, as a babe, like they're babies in this business, babies in this business. And just like when you see that cute little baby, man, and it's smiling, you know, the one thing that we know about babies, the reason babies are so cute, and it's been scientifically proven why babies are so cute, is because when you are born, you literally have to depend on everybody. There is nothing that a baby can do by itself, right? Mm-hmm. So day one, that baby has to influence everybody around it to take care of it. Everybody. That's why baby's so cute. Because you want to take care of it, right? It's nature. Nature did that on purpose for the sanctity of the species. So me and you, Rick, will feel compelled to take care of the baby. Hand to hand, and think about it, Rick. You just had some kids. I got kids. Hands and feet, we be waiting on these things.
Yeah.
Whatever they need, all they got to do is open their mouth, and we there running, right? And if you're not running, guess what? You go to jail. Even society then said you got to take care of it. Like, The babies is on it. So that's how I see people when they first get into this business. They're babies, right? And you're the broker, you're the adult. So it's your responsibility. Matter of fact, it's criminal, just like with the babies. It's criminal if you're not taking care of your new agents. Hand everything they support. Because here's the reality, Rick. They don't have a clue of what to do.
No, that's true.
Right? We know this, man. And nothing against the real estate schools, but the real estate schools are not designed to prepare you to do real estate. They're designed to prepare you to pass the exam. That's what they're designed for, right? So everything that you do in real estate school is geared around you getting a passing grade when you take the national and the state exams for your license. That's what they're paid. That's what they're designed to do. And they do a great job of it, Rick. They do a great job of it, right? But they're not designed for you to practically come out into this business and be successful. Real estate schools are not that. So when a person gets their license and they're ready to go, they're starting at zero. They don't have a clue, nothing. So just like a baby being born. So you as the broker, it's your responsibility and role to begin to teach, train, develop, nurture, right? Take care of your real estate babies. So when it comes to their first listing, how much? All of it is what you should be doing, right? And using it as an opportunity to train and develop them, to help build their confidence, right? To help, to simplify it, man. This thing can get super complex, right? And it's your responsibility to protect them and shield them, take care of them, hold their hand. So yeah, all of it. Now, you think, Rick, you think all brokers feel the same way I feel about it? Of course not. We know it's broker. Not brokers, they like, nah, man, you're an independent contractor, right? You gotta be ready to come in here and you get out of it what you put into it. We're going to throw you into the fire, sink or swim. You just got to be cut out for it. Like, nah, man, that's not how this works. It's more than enough opportunity for people if they're properly trained. And there's a way to properly train people in this business. And we first need to understand that it's not the real estate school's responsibility, and they're not equipped to do it. It has to fall on the brokers. Right? It's not the top producing agent's responsibility to teach your agents. It's not the team leads. It's not their responsibility to teach and develop the agents. It's your responsibility as the broker. Your job to do it, right? And you better do it. And y'all need to start doing a better job of it, Rick.
Right.
I know you've been on the other side of a table with an agent, and you're like, bro, call your broker. Your broker is doing a horrible job.
No, but my coach, I appreciate you talking about the value of training. Could you just go into, for our audience, a little bit about the mentorship and training program you've implemented over at Brooks & Davis Real Estate Firm that assists new agents through this very process and helps to alleviate these questions? Because I know one of the reasons you're so passionate about this particular topic is because you've seen this need, especially amongst young agents, for so long, that you've actually gone out and put processes in place to ensure that new agents don't feel as if they're out here on this maiden voyage alone. So if you just could share a little bit about the mentorship, the training program over at Brooks & Davis, and how on a weekly basis you and the members of the team over there continuously train and impart wisdom on new agents on a regular basis.
No, absolutely, Rick. I'm so glad that you asked that question. So, we're for a long time, over 16 years, it'll be 17 years in January that we've been Brooks & Davis Real Estate Firm. And this entire time I've been working on how do I get better at developing agents, right? I think all brokerage firms, they have this recruiting piece, right? They want is, a certain amount of agents. They want to bring in new agents into the fold, right? So we do as well. Like, we want to have as many real estate agents as possible. We want that. But we also need, and the industry needs, for us to have as many real estate agents closing as many real estate transactions as possible. So that's what we're about at Brooks and Davis. We're about having having more real estate agents close more real estate transactions. That's us in a nutshell. Mm-hmm. So for us to get to that close more real estate transactions, that's where everything that I just talked about when it comes to support and development and holding your hand and seeing them as babies, like that's where all of that comes in, right? Because without that, they won't close any transactions. They won't close one transaction. You know, agents don't even have the capacity of what is of mental. They don't have the mental capacity of what is really required, the level of activity every day, every week, every month, every year, the level of activity and engagement that is required to just close one transaction a month. We talking about one, right? Let alone 2 or 3, because they come in here thinking, I want to close 2 or 3 deals. I want to close 20, 25, 30 deals a year, right? They don't understand, they don't have the mental capacity to understand what is required to close 12 a month, right? Less than 10% of agents close more than 10 a year. Less than 10%, right? They don't understand what's required, the amount of activity, intention, engagement. They don't get it. And whose responsibility is for them to get it? Yours. You got to show them. You got to teach them. So what do, Rick? We have our things broke down into 2 components. We feel like there needs to be an education component. We also feel like there needs to be an application component. We'll call it application, right? So education, we're going to give you the information and we're going to support you through it. We're going to encourage you and inspire you. We're going to love on you. We're going to communicate to you, right? But then we also have to we as a brokerage firm, we have to create opportunities to where they can go and apply the things that they've learned, right? Mm-hmm. They can go and utilize the resources that they've been exposed to, right? That they can go and implement the strategies that they've learned. So we got education, application. The application, we call them business development opportunities. So we have our education programs, we have our business development opportunities. And look, we like to keep things simple. So we got 7 education programs, we got 7 business development activities, a total of 14, right? So when it comes to the education, okay, that's where you have your mentorship, right? That's where we have our weekly trainings. We have our weekly lunch presentations. We have our one-on-one coaching. We have our group coaching, right? We have our Success in Real Estate Machine, which is the software that really helps with educating the agents, right? All of that falls under the education, right? That's that support where we're training and guiding them. We're giving them information and tapping into their resources. They have somebody that's literally holding their hand through learning this stuff, right? And then we have our business development opportunities, right? We got to create the opportunities for them to go and execute on what we taught them, right? So that's why we have our bus tours and our pre-home buyer session and our real estate summit that's coming up, right? And our lead distribution sessions that we do every week where we deliver and distribute leads, and our virtual desk time where they can have the opportunity to answer the office phones and begin to have those conversations and work with people that are looking for real estate, that are calling on properties, right? We do those things because we want to put them in a position to where they can execute on what they've been taught and learn. That's why we do them. So that's how we do it, Rick, right? That's the secret sauce at Brooks and Davis Real Estate Firm. We got education programs, we got business development opportunities. And what we do as a brokerage firm is that we encourage you to engage with the stuff. And the way that we do that, Rick, is through our major player pledge, right? If you're serious about being successful in this business, then we ask each and every one of our agents to make a pledge that they're going to be a major player, that they're going to behave as a major player, right? And ultimately what that means is, Rick, is that you're going to take advantage of all 14 of those things that we provide. That you're going to choose to take advantage of those things. We're publicly making you make a commitment. You got to sign your name to it. And I'm going to pledge to be a major player, right? So at our brokerage firm, we got two kinds of agents. We got those that are major players and we got those that are not, right? And if you're going to be successful, we need you to be a major player. So that's how we do it, Rick.
No, I appreciate you for explaining that and talking a little bit about the commitment necessary to achieve goals. I think a lot of times, a lot of entrepreneurs and business owners are really ambitious, especially in this real estate space. But until you've been properly trained, you don't understand the type of income producing activities that you have to go through on a regular basis. I want to talk to you a little bit about, because we got a good question in from our audience, Coach Mike. And Mr. A.K. Babers was asking, how do we get more buyers into the purchasing space with their affordability being attacked so much, Coach Mike, with higher insurance rates, interest rates, and the alike? What can we do as professionals to bring all those that are ready and willing? How can we show them that they're truly able when everything out in the media sphere is telling them that their affordability and their buying power is being attacked?
No, I think that is a tough one, AK, man. You can't be coming on here giving me tough questions, man. Only the easy questions what I'll be looking for, man. The easy questions. So this is it, Rick. Okay. And you know, anytime things get complicated, you got to go back to the basics, right? Got to go back to the basics. So I know you've heard this before, Rick. I know y'all have heard this, that this is a pipeline business. We've heard that before, right? This is a pipeline business. Okay. So now what AK just talked about when it comes to getting more potential buyers when we have these market conditions of affordability, such as the insurance costs, such as the higher interest rates, such as the inflation. What AK is saying is that I have people that have a desire to buy, but there's some other boxes that need to be checked before they're in a position to buy. Because here's the thing about affordability. All right. When it comes to affordability really is relative, right? Because what one person can afford versus what another person can afford, a lot of that is really income based. So it's not necessarily affordability, it's attainability is what we should be looking for. How can we get more people to attain home ownership? So now at that point, it ain't about income. It's about market conditions. So now when houses become unattainable, which is what's happening to the market, buying a house has become unattainable. It ain't necessarily affordable, it's unattainable, right? So even though I can get qualified for a loan, I can't attain home ownership because housing prices are too high, or the conditions around the mortgage doesn't afford me the ability to pay the mortgage because the amount of money that I make on my job is not moving at the same rate as housing costs, right? And this is a national issue. Well, the United States has always been about owning houses, home ownership, since the 1930s, since the Great Depression, right? It's always, the country's always been about owning a piece of owning something. Now, Rick, do you know why? Do you know why the United States has taken a hard line on its citizens owning a house?
Why is that,
you know
Coach?
why? History of it. All right, so here's the history of it. So there literally was a campaign that was launched in the 30s to encourage citizens to buy a house. Like, I mean, it was a big push. They had buttons, they had all kinds of stuff. That's when the FHA was created, right? To enhance the guarantee. At the same time that was happening, they were pushing, you got to buy a house. That's where the American dream came from. Okay. So this was manufactured. This dream of home ownership, this American dream, it was manufactured. Now, you know why, Rick? Because the United States felt like it's harder to convert you to a socialist. See, this was all about communism, bro. The United States felt like it'll be harder to convert you to a communist and socialist if you owned a piece of America. They knew it. It was like, as a citizen, if you own a piece of the country, there's more loyalty to the country. That's why they do it, Rick. So now, I said that to say this. Since that's the philosophy of the country, when things become unattainable, what are they going to do? They're going to start regulating so people can begin to buy houses again. That's why the real estate market is cyclical the way it is, because the government's going to adjust, because the underlying philosophy of our government is it wants its citizens to own a piece of the country. It believes that's the right of a citizen in the United States, ownership. Okay, so now to AK's question, what do? Then you got to be, since we know the market's going to adjust, it's going to get to a point. Something's going to happen to help people attain buying a house. Something's going to happen. Even if we don't know what it is right now, but something's going to happen. Okay, so when that happens, all these people that have come to you and wanted to do it, you better have been engaging with them on a consistent basis. You better have been touching base with them at least once a month to keep them in your pipeline, right? Because if you haven't, then when the market adjusts, then they're going to go buy with another agent, right? Because it's going to adjust. So that's why we got to get better at creating pipelines. You have to begin to create you a pipeline of potential buyers that are working through some things to put them in a position to, at some point, they'll be able to buy. So now when that adjustment happens and you see it and you're like, I got the perfect person. Let me call him. Let me send it to him. Let me shoot it over to him. And now you've impacted it. You've helped more people. So we got to start creating pipelines of people. The person that's going to win when the market turns is the one that had the biggest customer list. The one that got that customer list that's been built out over years of people that have the desire, right? And they just had to work through some things. And you just stayed with them while they were working through those things. Created your pipeline, right? And now when the market turns, now you got all these people that you can leverage, that you can help, and then you're going to get paid. So that's what we got to be doing right now. This is the long game. That's the thing about real estate. People get in this business, Rick, and they think it's fast money, and it's not. This is long, slow money, right? You got to be very intentional. And then it's really about the amount of impact that you can create. That's going to dictate how much money you make in real estate. How many people are you impacting through what you're doing? Yeah.
And no, that's great advice. And I also would like to add, as far as the affordability factors, to your point about how the United States, from a financial perspective, has been built on the home ownership of its citizens. If affordability is seeming to be an issue with those that would like to purchase homes, understand the government, the banks, the financial institutions are long been aware of this issue. And what happens with those adjustments that you're speaking towards, Coach Mike, is that they offer money and assistance for those who are ready and willing. So if you do have clients who have talked about how they don't feel that they're in a position now to purchase because of pricing, because of interest rates, I would urge all of those in the real estate community that are licensed, those realtors and real estate professionals, to do some research and find out about all those grants, all those programs, all that free money that's out there with third-party institutions as well as lending institutions and banks. Because you and I discussed offline a lot, Coach Mike, how there are so many more opportunities for those who want to buy to have that initial down payment, to have those closing costs taken care of. So the affordability problems that a lot of people perceive that keeps them from wanting to move forward aren't as big of problems as they think when they're with someone who's reputable, educated, and knowledgeable about what's out there to make home ownership possible for everyone.
Absolutely, Rick. 100%, brother. I couldn't have said it better myself.
No, man, this is why we urge everyone in the audience to get involved. I want to thank Mr. Babers for submitting that question, because it's that real-time organic reach that we have here on the Monday Night Live Real Estate Call-In Show that makes it so powerful.
Absolutely.
So, Coach Mike, for all those in the audience that are catching us for the first time, that are being introduced to the Monday Night Live Real Estate Call-In Show on this week, could you just talk about what's going on this week at Brooks and Davis Real Estate Firm, what they have to look forward to for those that follow us on BND TV and the Prime Real Estate Network channel on YouTube?
Absolutely, Rick. I would love to. So I definitely want to encourage everybody to make sure that you're following us on Facebook, to where you'll be able to see all of the programming and things that we have coming down the pipeline. So I do know this Thursday we're going to be doing our HBREA Lunch and Learn, leveraging real estate to circulate the black dollar. So we got some heavy hitters that's going to be really talking about how to utilize real estate and just to maneuver money through our community. All right. The Lunch and Learn is an amazing event, great for networking. It's great for obviously gaining information. You're going to be able to learn about the Houston Black Real Estate Association and all of the powerful things that we're doing there. You get a great meal. It's going to be at the Power Center. So make sure, again, you can go to hbreaevents.org. You'll be able to learn about this event. You'll be able to register. Make sure you register early so you get the early bird discount. They charge a little bit more at the door. And then if you're not a member of the Houston Black Real Estate Association, you definitely want to join, because when we have these types of events, there's a member discount that you're able to participate in. So again, that's going to be this Thursday, September 19th, beginning at 11 o'clock. Then we also have our free HUD certificate home buying class. It's an excellent class for individuals when they are wanting to access those refunds that Rick talked about, right? Well, now you as a professional, you are now able to provide a value to these individuals. All right. Again, it's typically a member benefit. Members of the Houston Black Real Estate Association, they know about this class. They can provide them to their customer base. But since on Monday Night Live, we talk to more than just real estate professionals, there are consumers out there. So if you're looking to buy a home and you want to be able to tap into the resources that Rick talked about, then this is one of those classes where you'll be able to get that HUD certificate that you can use to access the funding sources that Rick. It's an 8 hour, well, it's 8 hours of counseling, right? So it's in that, what it is, 8 hours of education, we'll say that. And it consists of 6 hours of class and 2 hours of counseling, a total of 8 hours. Then you'll get that certificate, and that certificate lasts you for a year. So we have some upcoming classes. We have a class this Saturday that you definitely want to take advantage of and get into it. Now we also have our pre-home buyer session that's this Saturday. This month our pre-home buyers session is geared towards veterans. There's a lot of veteran programs that are available, housing programs that people are not aware of. So if obviously if you gave a sacrifice to the country, the least we could do is help you own a piece of the country that you was protecting. So these are your benefits, and we want to help you utilize these benefits so you can, again, own a piece of the country that you protected. So if you're in the armed services, whatever the branch, make sure you register for our pre-home buyer session for this Saturday. Begins at 11 o'clock. You'll be in there about 45 minutes. And before you leave out, you're going to know exactly what your next step needs to be for you to be able to purchase a home. All right. We have our top producers mixer that's going to be on next Saturday. So we got the heavy hitters of Brooks and Davis are going to be coming out dropping gems. So you definitely do not want to miss. Our partners, NRL Mortgage, they're hosting us for this event. And it is going to be an event worth the ages. So you want to be in the building. You want to see what's going on. You want to see how our heavy hitters of Brooks and Davis, what they did to get themselves on a higher level of production. Oh, and we have our real estate summit. So I talked about that before. I'm super excited about this year's summit because we're adding an investing component. Typically, this is actually our 6th annual real estate summit. And what we've done in the past is it's been geared towards first-time home buyers, but we wanted to step up. And by stepping up, we're now looking to attract individuals that now want to, they're first time investors, right? So we have our friends at Yes to Real Estate. They're doing an investing mini camp that's going to speak about what you need to know as you may own a home, but now there are ways that you can use the home that you live in to leverage being able to purchase investment property. So you're going to have experts there that are going to be able to show you how to do it, how to use it, as well as if you are wanting to purchase a home and there are certain things that you're maybe struggling with credit, we'll have people there that can help you with that. If you're struggling with down payment, we got resources that's going to be there that can help you with that, right? If you're struggling with just a multitude of things, we got the people in the building that can help you with that, all right? So that's going to be October 12th. Make sure you go to churchrealestatesummit.com. You'll be able to learn more about the summit as well as reserve your spot. It doesn't cost anything. We do have vendor table opportunities available as well. But yeah, man, super excited about our real estate summit this year. Uh-oh. All right. So BND TV, we know about Monday Night Live. You just experienced it. Tomorrow, we're doing the Real to Life podcast. My guest, Tracy Faltry, is going to be our guest for next Tuesday. She's going to have a phenomenal story. Then we're going to do our Real Estate Happy Hour live. That's going to be at 2:30. And then, Rick, you guys have the Prime Real Estate Network on Thursday. Anything that you want to say about that?
No, really excited about this week's show. If you haven't had an opportunity to check out the Prime Real Estate Network podcast live every Thursday, man, myself and the Texas Real Estate King, Larry W. Brooks, introduces our audience to all of the movers, shakers, entrepreneurs, and business owners in the real estate space here in the city of Houston and all over the great state of Texas. We have great interviews every week, and I'm sure if you tune in, there'll be some great tidbits and nuggets that you can take from these entrepreneurs and business owners to help inspire you to take your vision to the next level or motivate you to actually get involved in this real estate space. So you're all invited. High noon Central Time on Thursdays. It's the Prime Real Estate Network live on YouTube and Facebook.
Awesome. All right, our Houston Real Estate Channel, man. It's a phenomenal resource that you definitely need to tap into. If you're whether you're relocating to Houston or relocating within Houston, it's all about location, and this is what that channel does for you. So make sure you go and subscribe today. Oh man, our money back guarantee, Rick. I don't know any other brokerages that put their money where their mouth is. So if you're a brand new agent, we spend a lot talking about brand new agents and the responsibilities of brokers. I laid out about the education programs and the business development opportunities. Well, we're so confident in our process that if you're a brand new agent and you don't close a transaction in 12 months, we'll give you your money back. The amount of money that you've given to Brooks and Davis as far as any fees or dues, the amount of money that you paid to HAR, the amount of money that you paid for Super and for your MLS, after 12 months, if you haven't closed one transaction, we'll give it all back to you. That's how confident we are. Make sure you go to our career page so you can learn more about that and all the other programs that we offer as a brokerage firm. All right. Oh, and also, so our World Changers community. So we know that we have relationships out there, Rick. People want to connect with us. So we built an entirely new community it's not new, but an entirely different community, right? So if you don't want to be an agent with us, but you want to be connected to us, then join our World Changers community. It's an amazing community of collaboration and connectedness, like-minded individuals. That's all about impact. That's about learning. That's about helping people. That's about shared mindset and masterminding. So if that's something that you're interested in, make sure you visit the link. Brooks and Davis Real Estate Firm. There we go. .com/join. Make sure you visit that link. Learn about the money back guarantee. You'll also learn about the World Change community as well as our real estate student affiliate program. And that's where non-licensed individuals are able to join a supportive network with these world changing professionals, where not only do we work towards educating you and helping you achieve success in real estate, but also in passing the exam, getting through your classes, and because you can't even begin doing real estate until you get past the exam. So you got to find success in that as well. So we've created a support network around helping individuals with that. All you got to do is go to the link on the screen and you can learn about all three of those: the money back guarantee, the real estate, the World Change community and the real estate student affiliate group. Finally, make sure you connect with us on social media. We're everywhere. So all you got to do is put in Brooks and Davis Real Estate Firm on any of these platforms, and you'll be able to find us. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you follow. Make sure you like. Make sure you share. That's it, Rick.
Oh, no, I appreciate you so much for sharing that information, man. I urge everyone in the audience to take advantage of not only the opportunity, but also the education and the mentorship that you can take advantage of with Brooks and Davis Real Estate Firm with no commitment. The great thing about what it is that you offer, Coach Mike, and your team over at Brooks and Davis is the opportunity for licensed as well as unlicensed individuals who are interested in learning about how the real estate is practiced over at Brooks and Davis Real Estate Firm. They can become an affiliate. They can come check us out online. They can hang out with us virtually and get a feel for not only the company culture, but the feeling of family that makes the Brooks and Davis Real Estate Firm special and stand out in this real estate space from that standpoint. So, Coach Mike, I want to thank you for sharing all of your tidbits, a lot of your information, and sharing your not only your intellect, but your experience with the members of our audience. Is there anything you would like to say, sir, in closing before we sign off this week on Monday Night Live?
No, I know we went long today, but we had a question from the audience, and we can't never pass up on our questions from the audience. So shout out to AK for his question, all the work that you do, Rick. Matter of fact, all the work that all of our leaders do at Brooks and Davis Real Estate Firm to help us grow.
Hey, look, I want to thank you so much for sitting in with us, Coach Mike. On behalf of not only CEO Mr. Michael G. Davis, but also myself, I want to thank everyone in the Monday Night Live audience for checking us out this week. Please like, share, subscribe, follow B&D TV on YouTube, follow the Prime Real Estate Network channel on YouTube. Stay dialed in, stay tapped in until the next Monday Night Live Real Estate Call-In Show with Coach Mike. Everyone in our audience, please be safe and be blessed.